Good evening. This is the Mount Anthony Union School Board meeting for Monday, April 22nd. Welcome, everybody. The first item on our agenda is a presentation from the Green Mountain Cadets. I'm going to have Bob Marine introduce who will speak, and they just filed in. Al, if you want to turn your camera, you can see all the Green Mountain Cadets that just came in. We asked Bob to invite the cadets because we'd heard about the program and we wanted to hear more about it. And Bob said he couldn't do it in 10 minutes, so he needed a half an hour, so that's what you have.
Thank you very much, Jean-Marie. Thank you very much for allowing the cadets to come down. We love the cadet program. Of course, I'm Bob Marine, Director of After School and Summer Programming's Mosaic program. And I think what I'll do is introduce, we have some of the cadets with us, and I think I'll introduce Chuck Krozik, and Chuck will then lead the others in introducing themselves.
Awesome.
Group, attention, sports. Stand at ease. Sergeant Krozik.
I'm Liam Downey. I'm a senior at Mount Anthony Union High School.
Thomas Bissett, I'm a senior at Grace Christian School.
Spencer Thomas, I'm a sophomore at MEUHS.
Sam Walk. I'm a junior at the high school.
Keegan Briggs, I'm a freshman at the high school.
Tyler Stoll, I'm an 8th grader at the middle school.
Cassandra Simmons, I'm a senior at Mount Anthony.
Stephanie Stowe, I'm a senior at Mount Anthony.
Cooper Maxon, I'm a 7th grader at Sacred Heart St. Francis de Sales.
I'm Brianna Murray, and I'm a 6th grader, and I go to middle school.
Caroline Parker, I'm a 6th grader, and I go to Sacred Heart.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have actually enrolled in the Green Mountain Cadets. We have on a normal, every Tuesday and Thursday, we meet at the high school, thanks to Sue McGuire, giving us a nice space at the high school. We meet there from about 2:45 until about 5 o'clock, 5:30 with the Tier 1 cadets. We have about 60 cadets, high school and middle school, signed up in the cadets. But it's a rotating in and out kind of a thing where if you're in softball or something, you don't have to show up for the cadets. And when you can make it, you can make it. On a regular basis, we have about 25 cadets that come, both Tier 1 and Tier 2. So we have a little things to talk about. And let me talk first about why I really love this program, because this is one of my absolute favorite programs. Anybody that works at central office will know that because I dress up, if I can, in a little uniform. I have 2 or 3 that I like to vary. I love it. I was never in the military, but I think that the military offers us an awful lot of very good aspects to raise our kids with. And so what I do is I try to wear a little uniform and promote the program as much as I can, and we try to get the cadets to do the same. One of the great things about the program is we like to think of it as a complete educational thing. Mind, body, spirit, the entire human being, basically going back to the ancient Greek philosophy. So our program is based on everything. We do tutoring, we have military history class, we have physical education, we do a lot of PT, physical training, we do a lot of counseling, we have a lot of people come in to talk to the cadets. So there's an awful lot to this program, which is why I really like it. It also gives, of course, all the standard military style benefits. It has leadership, ethical responsibility. We do community service every month that gives the cadets self-confidence, self-reliance, personal pride. We teach discipline. We teach dedication. It gives them an idea of being bigger than themselves, part of the community. And it's a great little program. Some of the things that we work on during our ranks, we'll let Top start us off with what the ranks stands for. We have the Green Mountain Cadets, but as you can see on the sweatshirts, called the ranks. And is there a cadet that wants to speak about what ranks stands for?
RANKS is an acronym. It stands for respect, awareness, no drugs or alcohol, kindness, and self-confidence.
And you'll see in the little pamphlet I dropped off for you, on the back sheet, there's actually a little contract that every cadet has to get signed, either themselves and their parents, that kind of puts that forth. It has the ranks written down there. And it kind of gives a standard that we expect out of our cadets. And so if for some reason they don't meet those standards, we talk with them a little bit, we counsel them. We have Tier 1 high school cadets that also talk to them and try to uphold all those things. We also have an invitation to any local vets to come in and teach. And Top, can you speak to some of the vets that are coming in and some of the things we've done?
This week we're going to be doing map and compass course. Sergeant Leo Beatty, he's retired Vermont National Guard. He'll be coming in, teaching the cadets map and compass, and later on, either on the weekend or the following week, we're going to be actually going out doing a compass course. Any veteran who would like to come help do a class, please notify us and we'll schedule time and a topic. We're looking for anyone who wants to volunteer.
And we've also had a great partnership with the Bennington Rescue Squad. They invited us over, and is there, I know this isn't even on the agenda, is there any cadet can tell us what you did at the Bennington Rescue Squad? Spence again.
We went over there, we had, I think it was 4 classes over there. We got AED, which is automatic electric defibrillator, first aid, and CPR certified.
Absolutely. So every cadet that showed up there got a little certificate, a little card, CPR trained and certified, and they did a great job, charged us nothing for it, and it was really a great experience. We also have what's called a buddy system. Is there any cadet or cadets that want to talk about the buddy system and explain what that is? I know you do. Come on.
The buddy system is like when, you know, there's like 2 people, so like one person doesn't go alone anywhere. It's like if you have to go get a drink, then like whatever you're doing, then your buddy that you choose will leave with you. Like if you have to go get a drink, then they'll go with you, or the bathroom. They'll wait outside. Stuff like that. Like they go with you anywhere that you go that's not involved with everything else that you do.
Want to add anything?
It makes us a lot safer when we're walking around, and it helps us stay together, and so everyone knows where everyone is, and if someone gets hurt, the other one can go get help.
Yeah, it really is a nice system. A lot of times Top will have them outside working on PT or drill and ceremony, and someone may want to go back to the restroom, which is inside the source building, and they don't go alone. They always go with somebody. Everybody has a buddy, and they even go further than that, to be honest with you, and I don't understand since I was never in the military, but there are also things called CQ desks, signing out. Can you explain what that is?
CQ is charge of quarters. Whenever we leave backpacks into the source building, kids have their cell phones and expensive iPods in their backpacks. We want to make sure no one comes in and steals their stuff out of the backpack. So CQ is the person, 2 people in charge of keeping an eye on the gear that's left behind.
So everything is with a buddy system. Even in the afternoon, at 5 o'clock, we have a bus that comes from the middle school after school program that comes to the source building at the high school to pick us up. But Top will have 2 cadets out there together waiting for the bus. When it comes, they'll tell everybody. It's very, very, very organized and safe. It's really a great system, the buddy system. We also have something called Train the Trainers. Is there any cadet that wants to talk about Train the Trainers? Thanks, guys.
Train the Trainers was a program that we had before Green Mountain Cadets really got started. It was to teach the high school students how to teach the middle school students, and we're going to do it again this summer for upcoming 8th graders into like the high school, so that they can learn how to teach the kids.
You know, what's really cool about the Train the Trainers thing is, if you look here, we have middle school kids and high school kids both. It's a wonderful system where we take the high school kids and we call those Tier 1. They actually are the leaders. Top runs it. Chuck runs the program. But the Tier 1 high school kids, and there are, let's see, how many colored shirts? Does anybody want to talk about the colored shirts? Any Tier 1, Tier 2? Spence.
We have 4 different colors: white for recruit, green for the middle schoolers, cadet, blue for specialist, and red for sergeant. Any more in depth or?
No. Thank you. The red shirts, when you're a high school student, you're going to get a blue shirt. They are non-paid positions where the blue shirts actually learn from the red shirts on top how to run the program, how to work with the cadets, how to teach things. The red shirts are actually paid positions. We pay them to come and work with us. So they come after school, they work with TOP in the summer, they work with TOP until 5:30, from 5 to 5:30, reviewing what lesson are we going to teach. They actually teach the lessons. A lot of times TOP will have them separate into groups, and each one of the red shirts will take a group of kids and they'll have a lesson right there and they'll rotate through, and so they're actually working and teaching. The blue shirts are more or less in training to be a red shirt when they get enough experience under their belts. So it's a really cool system of not only having both high school and middle school kids together, but also a mentoring system where you have nice older kids that are working with the younger kids and helping them hopefully to grow up even better than they had a chance at. We also have a lot of support from the local organizations besides the high school, of course, and the middle school helping us. We have the National Guard has been very instrumental in helping put this together. First Lieutenant Crow in the back. You want to stand back there and get Lieutenant Crow. She's not in uniform today. She's as a parent. First Lieutenant Crow, there she is. She helped me put the program together. It was she who recognized that Chuck Krosick would be a great choice for this program, and he has been. The National Guard, we've actually, for the month of March, with the permission of the National Guard, worked the cadet program out of the Armory, which was a great experience for us to be there. So we had that support. The VFW has supported us in many, many ways, including financial. The American Legion supports us. We've had Bennington CrossFit has worked out a deal where every Sunday we take the Tier 1 cadets, the high schools. We go down there and work out every Sunday from 9 to 10. So they've worked up a good deal with us. We also have Bennington Sports and Graphics, which has been instrumental in making all this stuff they put together and given us a good price. And we've actually gotten a grant from Southern Vermont College to help pay for these things as well. So we have a lot of support in the community, and you've probably seen us in every parade we have. We're in every parade, and we love it. And the cadences are awesome, which I think, Top, do they make up some of the cadences themselves?
We have.
Yeah. So one of the great aspects that I like about the cadet program is a demerit system. We have a demerit system. And let's see if we can get any cadet to talk about the demerit system. Come, thank you.
Demerits look like this, and basically, if we get in trouble and like misbehave or give our sergeant's attitude, they can give us a demerit, and then at the end of the closing that we do, Top will call us up if we get a demerit, and then he'll give us a punishment, which is usually push-ups, and they got to decorate them. My sergeant decorated them with flowers. So yeah.
And they also give you a certain amount of push-ups to do. Like, if you're still doing push-ups, they'll tell you to do more until they say stop and get up.
Okay, and so we have a great demerit system, and I'll tell you what, one of the things I really, really like about the demerit system is one time I was outside, and I'm not going to be able to repeat the word this young man said, but he was in formation, and Top called him up, and he said, who's got demerits? And the people, I mean, what's cool about the demerit system is they actually have to recognize they got something, they tell everybody what it is they did, how they would improve on it, and then they get their little punishment, and they're done. So this young man came up, and Top said, well, what did you do? And he said, well, I said a curse word. I said bloop, and then Top, of course, you just said it again. So more push-ups. So it's a great system of having the kids recognize what they've done wrong, tell their peers what it is, and then take their little punishment. And it really works very, very well. Another thing that we do a lot of is PT. Is there anybody want to talk about PT? Thank you, sir.
All right. So I'm in charge of PT. Usually consists of like about a 15-minute warm-up from neck to ankles,
We cover everything because it's important to warm up. Then it consists about a half hour, 45 minutes of what we're doing that day. If it's usually a run, or we'll do push-ups, jumping jacks. Sometimes we'll even have like a fun game like football for them to do, just to relax from all the stress of the more vigorous PT. And then the cool down is just like the warm up, and it closes from there.
So, and of course, I think I wrote to Ms. McGuire about perhaps we would have a push-up contest here tonight with any board member who wants to challenge any of our cadets. And one of the cool things, and let us know if you want to. One of the cool things about the cadets is that I know Chuck and I were really concerned that we really wanted to recruit females. We wanted females in the program. And to be honest, we have no trouble with them now. We have a lot of females that come out to the program. Well, there's always trouble with them, you know that. No, it's great to have them in the program. And we have a very good female population. So it's not a concern of ours anymore. And they are great leaders. They really are. And we look forward to the younger cadets, all of them, the Tier 2, rising up in the ranks to become the blue shirts and the red shirts when they get to the high school. We also do drill and ceremony. Is there anybody can talk about drill and... Liam?
Drill and ceremony is very important for when we go to parades. Makes us look really good. And like when we walk down the parade? What is it? Main Street. Main Street. There we go. And it teaches obedience to command and discipline as well.
You know, and I do want to make sure, since we're on a live television and or taped, when we give out demerits, actually the Tier 1 cadets, the high school students, do not actually give out the punishments. Only Chuck can give out the punishments. So if someone may give a Tier 2 cadet a demerit, it's only Top who can give the punishment out. So we keep very strict control over it, and we're not like a normal military where we're yelling in somebody's face at all like that. It's all very positive, and actually we try very hard to work as a unit to help each other succeed no matter what it is. Another thing we do is community service. Every month we have been to historic Galusa Homestead in Shaftesbury. We've been to the Willow Park Cross Cycle, Veterans Parade, the Penguin Plunge, the Vietnam Veterans Parade, Bennington Cleanup Day. I think this Saturday we'll be there for that. Memorial Day Parade, and the VFW has asked us to put flags on the graves of fallen vets on Memorial Day, and we're going to do that also. So we try very hard to get in the community in uniform and be an example for all the kids in this area, in this community. So that's one of our main things, is community service. Cadets, are we missing, I'm sure we're missing lots of stuff. Is there anything you want to talk about? Anybody have a random good comment?
Can we ask questions?
Well, we're not quite done yet, but yes. Thank you. No questions yet. No. Yeah, I do have some parents that may want to speak about, is there any parent that wants to come up, and I'll give the microphone to you. Come on, it's fun.
I'm Jennifer Parker, and my daughter is Caroline, and she really enjoys the cadet program. And she goes to independent school, so it gives her an opportunity to work with students she might not otherwise engage and socialize with, and work as a group with such a wide range of skills and ages. And she has enjoyed it tremendously. I think she had to miss one session, and she was very upset about that because it is a draw and it's very engaging.
Can I ask a question, Bob? No, not yet.
This young lady?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
How did your daughter hear of the program?
Cassandra Simmons is her babysitter, and she told Caroline about it and actually got her to go to the parade, and Caroline didn't know what she'd committed herself to, and so, but when she got going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
Any other parent? Come on, you came on purpose. Come on.
She did come on purpose. Let's hear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's hear how you got this idea.
Exactly.
I know I'm not allowed to ask questions, but I might get some demerits.
Not yet, but soon.
Should I get some demerits?
No demerits yet.
Because that's
No
going to be
demerits.
push-ups, John.
Hi, I'm First Lieutenant Christina Crow, but I'm also a mother to Darius Carey, who actually does the IT for the program, and he also participates sometimes. He goes to all the community service events, and whatever questions you have, I'll answer. But
Well, Bob said it was your, sort of your brainchild.
actually, no, it was Bob's brainchild. I just helped him.
And you have experience in putting a group like this together, or?
Well, I'm a platoon leader in the Vermont Army National Guard, so I have a very large group of people that I work with on a daily basis.
So does Bob split his salary with you?
No. No, he does not, actually.
That was a joke. So we won't put you on the spot. I won't put you on the spot any longer, will? Dave?
I'm going to say, I think I remember, Lieutenant Crow, hearing you speak at the State School Board Association meeting back in October at Lake Maury.
Yes.
Were you
yes,
possibly there?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you gave a very moving
Thank you.
account of your young adulthood and
Yes.
how strongly you felt about this organization.
Yep. I think that's partly why I feel so strongly about this program, because I feel like this program gives, I had talked to him, the people that were in the small groups, about my personal experience as a teenager and a young child, and how if I had a program like this available to me, that maybe some of the choices that I had made as a child I wouldn't have made, and it wouldn't have taken me so long to come around. But this program, I feel, is an opportunity for every child to experience something positive in this community. There's not, I wouldn't say that there's not a lot out there for kids, but I think that it gives them the opportunity in a safe environment where they may not feel comfortable maybe going out and trying out for sports or something like that. This is like a non-judging program, and everybody's welcome, and it's good.
Thank you. Thank you for your help. Dave,
No
thanks for
problem.
bringing that up.
Any other questions? Go.
I read in here, it says development of the mind, and there's also a part about tutoring. Is there an academic standard that you folks have to adhere to?
That would be a Bob question.
The tutoring is actually put on, Sue McGuire has given us room 111. We have Cindy Sweet that works with us in that room. And tutoring is available through the cadets, Tier 1 cadets, to help the middle school kids with any homework or questions or tutoring they have like that. There is no necessarily academic levels that we're looking for, just to help them achieve, and if they have any kind of a problem or want more help tutoring, it's available through the Tier 1 cadets at no cost to them whatsoever. We also have the military history class that we designed only because I wanted to get back in the classroom and teach some more, so I just created it. So we teach a little military history, anything from ancient Greece and Rome to modern day Afghanistan and Iraq. So we do all that kind of stuff. Any other parent want to talk before we move into that last phase? Okay. I think we will open it up for questions at this point with no fear of demerits. There's a question back here from Mr. Pembroke.
We talked about the demerits. Do you also hand out merits?
Actually, yes. Good question. We did. In the beginning, we just passed out demerits, and then we decided that we really should. We always wanted to. I mean, Chuck and I had gone to Bennington Sports and Graphics and looked up ribbons and merits, things that they could accumulate and achieve. So we do have them on order, and we are going to give out ribbons for achievement, whether it be in a whole variety of areas. So yes, we do. Good question.
Bob, I'd like to add to that.
Yes, sir.
Since the beginning of the program, we have streamers that we put onto the guidons, and whenever a cadet does a good job at any PT or drone ceremony, we let that cadet put their name on the streamer, attach it to their platoon guidon, which they'll be able to keep at the end of the year.
And I believe we've had guide-ons also for any cadet who gets into a college, is that correct?
Yeah.
And how many cadets do we have here that have put a streamer on a guide-on for getting into college?
I think it's actually when we decide on the college.
Decide on the college? Yes. So we have, for sure, Cassie?
I haven't decided yet.
You will. So, also, if there's any other questions?
Yeah, I have.
Yes, sir.
How many are in the program altogether?
Well, in the program altogether, on a regular basis, we have about 25, I would say, that show up every Tuesday and Thursday, total between Tier 1 and Tier 2. Signed up, we have about 60 altogether. But again, they come and go, and some don't come back at all, but others do come back. We see a lot of kids coming back because they're in wrestling, and their wrestling's over, and they're back again. So that. And to be honest, we don't recruit at all at the high school. All of our high school kids have come to us through either Sue McGuire, Aberio, or just come through counselors or just heard about the program and want to join. So it's been great.
Peter?
Yes?
Yeah, I applaud all of you for being part of this. After reading this, I can see a lot of benefits for it. But if I could get or one of you or whatever to just say what attracted you personally to the program.
Sure.
Okay, well, I heard about this program from a friend, and what attracted me was, well, first of all, I'm enlisted in the military, the United States Navy, and what attracted me was that I'd get to learn a lot of experience before actually going to boot camp, so I'd be ahead of most of the people when I get there, and so I thought that'd make me look really good when I got there, and also, I like the community service aspect of it because I like working with little kids and everything. So, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I heard about this program from my sister, and that's her right there, and yeah. So and I always always been into military and stuff, so I thought this might be a good program for me. So,
well, I heard about this program from my uncle, because my uncle actually runs the program. he wanted me to join it, so I joined it, and it's a lot of fun. And it's fun to do on Tuesdays and Thursdays after school. So I like it.
I didn't hear about the program from anybody. Our teachers hand out these after-school forms that we have to fill out and bring it back the next day. And I talked to my parents about it, and I wanted to see if I wanted to learn something new.
Excellent.
Like Cooper, I heard it through my uncle as well. And I did this because I'm enlisting into the United States Army, so I wanted to do this to get almost like a stow, just get a heads up and on what it's going to be like and get more prepared for it.
Christine.
So my son is a senior in high school and he's in this program as well. By no forcing him to join for himself and for the opportunity, he takes his job or his role in this program very seriously. So he has a very busy schedule, gaming and doing all the stuff with 17-year-old boys normally do. But he makes time for this program, which he takes very seriously. He sees it as his job. It's given him confidence that he can balance his personal life, his education, and work. And it's something that he and I had discussed a lot about, at some point he wants to try to experience that before he goes to college. So he's going to be going to college in the fall, and this has really helped him gain that confidence. So a bit of extra confidence. He's not going to join the military, but it's still work and it's still he's reaping the benefits in very positive ways.
And I think after hearing a couple of the cadets talk, you should know that we do not promote our kids, any Tier 1 or Tier 2 cadet, to join the military. It's not our goal whatsoever. Our goal is to help our kids be the most well-rounded, best possible young man and woman they could be, no matter what it is they want to do, whether it's college, the military, go get a job somewhere, it doesn't matter. So we don't promote being in the military. We just like the aspects that the military offers us to achieve that goal. And I should tell you also that the other day when we did the Veterans Parade, I got a call the next day from a young man in the Benel area, and he said that his son wanted to join the cadets because he saw us in the parade. And it just turns out that his son's in the 3rd grade. So we did deny him, and I told him that no, we only take 6th grade through high school. And he said, well, you have pretty small kids in there, but they're 6th graders. So we're not going to go any lower than what we are now. Is there any other questions whatsoever?
Bob, I think you addressed a lot of things. I do know that there were some questions from board members. So Nathan?
Do you ever make contact with the Veterans Home?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, Chuck Krozik's brother, Joe Krozik, was instrumental in helping Christina and I put this program together. And of course, he works with the Veterans Home. We tried to do some community service there, but it was a bad time around Christmas because there was some illness. We do a lot of work with the Veterans Home, as much as we possibly can, and would like very much to be affiliated with not only the Veterans Home more in the future, but also the Wounded Warrior Program.
Thank you.
Yes, Rob.
You know, I had originally asked you to come because I had heard some concerns about whether or not we were recruiting or if it was part of an ROTC program. And I think we've read about it a couple times, and it's great to get such a broad overview of what's going on. And that's why I had invited you, so that people could hear more about it firsthand and ask any questions they might have. So Dave, you have another one?
The question that I had back when I guess when we first heard about the program, and you mentioned, Mr. Marine, support that you've had, funding support from various organizations. And I guess I'm just not clear, as an after-school program, whether there is public funding that goes to support this program, and whether it's an official program of the school system.
Yeah, this is actually part of the Mosaic After School program, just like all the programs we have here at the middle school and at Benel, Pownell, and Molly Stark. So this is an after-school program. Its funds come from the Mosaic program, which is a grant of a couple $100,000 with some title money put in, some donation money. It's accumulation. So yes, it does.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bob, actually, while you're on it, because I tried to find my email, we're in the 4th year of the 5-year Mosaic grant through the whole SU?
Yep. It'll end June 30th, and then starting July with summer school will be our 5th year of the Mosaic program.
And then we apply for another 5-year grant?
That is correct, yes. There's a process in which you can then apply for a continuation of your grant.
Great. And we have a lot of community support for all of the programs, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think they're all very, very good. And there's a lot of schools that aren't in Mosaic that run a very good after-school and summer program too. But I think there's a tremendous need for an after-school and summer program in all of our schools. So
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice if we could fund them in all the schools.
Is that the 21st Century Grant?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Sue or Tim, do you want to add anything?
No.
I would just add, I wear my resident hat and thank the cadets as I belong to a community group that puts on a bicycle race in October in the Willow Park and is supported by the community, and my call to the cadets was quickly returned by Bob, and they were great. They were very helpful in giving us the muscle power to put up a great event. They really helped.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you, and thank all of you for all of your efforts around our community. It's great.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great. Al, you have to get them leaving.
Attention.
Sports.
Last space. Forward. Start.
Thank you, Bob. That was
Thank you, Bob.
35 minutes, but that's... Or because I asked questions?
Yes, it was the questions.
Thank
the
you.
push-ups.
Thank you very much, Bob. I really appreciate you bringing them for us to.
Thank you and the board for taking the time. It's great. Love it.
So now we'll go up to citizens' comments or public comment. Marlene, are you here for public comments? If you could come state your name and come up to the mic, please.
My name's Marlena A. Palan. Is this on?
Yep. It's
Oh.
just for the CAT
Okay.
TV.
And I'm here as just a parent. I'm here to bring the board up to speed on an item that's been kind of causing a little bit of disconcern for a couple of years now. The Mount Anthony Union Middle School PTSA has a subcommittee, and we embarked on a very eager task to obtain funding, raise awareness, and create a concession building on the site up by the, or over by the football field. In 2011, a co-chair and myself eagerly wrote a grant, and then in December of 2011, that grant was approved by the state of Vermont for this building. Unfortunately, we still have not received any of the funding from that $5,000 grant, and unfortunately, we cannot move forward with purchasing the septic pump system, which many of you have been in board meetings with us many times over, talking about what type of system to use, a holding tank, a pump grinding system, what size pipe to purchase, large or small. So until that grant money is released, we cannot purchase the unit, which is $8,000. It's been 14 months. The check was sent to the district. It was made payable to Mount Anthony Union Middle School District, it was made payable to MAU District 14. The grant approval letters acknowledging that we were the recipients of the grant were sent to the committee. We do have copies of those. They are posted on the website, which all of you were given some of you were given hard copies last year of. They're currently still posted on the website. And 14 months later, the funds still haven't been released to the committee. I believe there were 3 board meetings last year where the board agreed the funds should be released to the committee, and they still haven't been released to the committee. So I'm here today to ask, when are these funds going to be released? We've gone as far as submit bills for engineering work to the district to pay them from that $5,000, and the bills still haven't been paid. So we don't know what to do. And we're here once again, find ourselves in the same position again, saying, board, what's going on? Why won't these funds be released? This was a matching grant. The grant was very specific that the funds would not be awarded if it was seed money, which it was not. We needed to be ready to start construction, which we were. We were moving forward. We had already had engineering work done. We had elevations drawn. We had parts lists pulled together. But now we're at a standstill, and we can't move forward.
Marlena,
any questions?
Well, Marlena, what I'd like you to do is, Tim, would you meet with Marlena and Rick and see if we can resolve this, please? I know there's emails and there's somebody upstate that Rick's talked to, somebody upstate that Diane talked to. So I think if we could just get the right people together.
Well, I'd like to set a time for that. Rick, what's a good time for you to have that meeting?
I'd like to interject for one moment. We've been doing this game for 14 months.
Right.
Back and forth, back and forth. Mr. Pembroke did not write the grant. He did not participate in writing the grant. I'm not even sure if he's read the grant application and information. I'm very frustrated. Mr. Pembroke has had conversations with the state that he has not asked the grant committee to participate in. So we have no idea who he's talking to. We're talking to the grant committee, the people that reviewed the application, the people that chose our cause to donate money to. I don't know who Mr. Pembroke's speaking to.
So
it's ridiculous. 14 months. I think at this point in time we've lost the money, to be truthful, because I believe that there was a timeline that if the funds weren't used, I would guess within a year, they're gone. So we may not even actually be able to use the $5,000. So the community has lost potentially $5,000 of funds that would have gone to a community concession building that all teams at MAU would have been able to participate in. The booster clubs would have been able to utilize. The town leagues would have been able to utilize.
Marlene,
But we don't have any reasons why.
I do hear your frustration. I think everybody hears your frustration. But what I would like to do is, I know that we really can't answer. I mean, none of us can really say what to do. We want to see it resolved. I see Rick's hand up, and I don't really want to get into a he said, she said, although obviously you're under citizens' comments. And I know there are two different people upstate that people have spoken to. So if we could get Tim and you and Rick, and then the person who you or Diana spoke to, and coordinate everything, the money isn't lost. I mean, my understanding is the money is parked in the MAU fund in one of our accounts. That's what Rick has stated. So it's not lost. I mean, I don't mean lost like, we don't know where it is. I mean, it's not being returned is what I mean. Rick, is that correct?
Am I allowed to speak?
Yes.
I don't exactly, I believe the timeline, I don't exactly have it with me, but at the time the application was made out, it was made out by the PTSA and in the name of the Mount Anthony Union High School. So the check was issued to the high school. We offered to give it back to the state. They said, no, we don't want it back. We don't want to deal with this. Clearly, this was supposed to be to finish the project. I said, listen, there hasn't even been a shovel put in the ground yet. And they were a little surprised by that. And they said, listen, can you just, for us, make sure that it's a matching grant. They spend $5,000. Once they spend $5,000, you can issue the other $5,000. I said, I'll be happy to do that for you. We can clearly process the check. We'll hold it as a payable. And I took on the responsibility with the state that once they spent the $5,000, we'd release the money. The last time I asked for, which I think was over a year ago, an accounting, I was given an accounting of it, and I think it was about $2,800 or $3,800 to date. I told them, you spend $5,000, I can release the money. Didn't hear anything more until emails started flying around about 2 weeks ago. Mount Anthony is not responsible to pay those bills. Mount Anthony is not responsible to pay the engineering cost. Mount Anthony is responsible once the PTSA demonstrates that they have spent $5,000 to act as the state's fiduciary to provide that matching grant. And if the board wants to take that responsibility away from me because I made the commitment to the state, I'll be happy to do it. But I've got a fiduciary responsibility that I committed to that I need to live by. And I will until that documentation is provided.
So Tim and Marlena and Rick and the person from upstate, I do know in Richard's well-kept minutes that it is documented that at least $8,000 had been raised. I don't know if you have the appropriate documentation for that, but I think if everybody is together in the same room and not through emails and phone calls, we could get this resolved. So
I just would like to make a comment, Sean Marie. I have the application right in front of me. Again, it's posted on the Mount Anthony Union Middle School PTSA website under concession building. The application clearly indicates that it was made out by the middle school PTSA concession building committee, not by the PTSA.
Well,
big difference. Big difference. Different group of people.
But I do think one of the complications is the check came down made out to
the check came down made out to the district. The
official
application paperwork we filled out clearly indicated that it was to be made payable to the Mount Anthony Union Middle School PTSA Concession Building Committee.
Right.
Because we are all under the same district nonprofit ID number, when that number gets punched into the state treasury's database, checks are automatically cut to District 14. There is nothing the state treasury's office will do. That's how it's put into their system. We went around and around and around and around with the state last year.
So
Okay.
I do think if, Tim, maybe you could just step over there and find a time before, so we can continue on with the meeting. Marlena, did you had things you wanted to pass out, or you just had a,
You've all been given this stuff 3 times over. You've
Okay.
all been sent electronic links to it. It's the
Okay.
same information we've been going back and forth about.
Okay. So Tim, can you take your calendar over there?
Thank you.
Rick, do you have your calendar with you? It's in your head, okay. All righty, so, are there any other citizens' comments?
To your left.
To my left? The other left?
Yeah.
Fran?
Okay. I said I was going to do this at every MAU and SVSU meeting. And at the end of the year, we're going to be entering into a teacher's contract. So I would hope that everybody could, get together with the NEA and all the boards and make sure that we negotiate in open session, so we don't get into a ruckus like we did at the last negotiation session. If neither side has anything to hide, then open negotiations is the way to go, and then there won't be all the mistrust and everything else. So anyway, so I encourage everybody to start talking about it, so when we get to that point in about a year, nobody can say, oh, geez, this is so sudden, or nobody has mentioned anything about it, because I'll mention it at every single meeting I go to, and legislative breakfast. So anyway,
All right, so keep that in mind. Fran would like open meeting negotiations with the teachers come next year. Any other citizens' comments? So the first item on our agenda is a finance section. You were passed out the March Treasurer's Report. Can I have a motion to accept the Treasurer's Report?
So made.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of accepting the Treasurer's Report? It's unanimous. The Budget Status Report was in there for FYI. I don't have it in front of me. It looks like, just from looking at it, it's what, 20-something% left in the budget with 2 months? Is that right? Is this the MAU one? Yes, there's 25% for the next 2 months, 3 months. So we're on, so it looks like we're on track. Any questions on the budget status report? Seeing none, I'm going to ask Tim for financial updates. I think he has some, or maybe Rick, do you have some? No?
I'm sure want to be in an open session.
So I'm going to skip over to the consent agenda and see if Tim had something for open session and the financial updates. Can we have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So made.
Second.
Are there any questions on the minutes or is this the one we have all the spring nominations?
No.
No? You have a question? Go ahead.
Why is it appears to me in the field trip, it's like a senior, but there's only 100 kids going. It's like half the class. How come only half are going?
Because that's how many decided to go. We usually have about, by the end, about 120.
You go if you want, you don't have to go?
Oh, yeah. It's an overnight trip. We can't force kids to go. But
Really?
I mean, I guess we could try.
And what is that in May, Richard?
Yeah, in the minutes from March 20th, whenever you see a reference to Claude DeLucia, it's really as return on.
I noticed that.
Richard, are you writing too many minutes?
I was writing too many minutes too close to each other.
Too many meetings? Okay. I want to say that I'm very happy and sorry to see, I'm sorry I got distracted, Jeff Johnson's resignation. I'm thrilled for him and for Shaftesbury. I'm very sorry for MAU. He has done a lot. Although he was at BSD before then too, he's really made an impact throughout our whole school system, and I look forward to hearing how he's doing next year in Shaftesbury. So I will accept it, but with regret. But did somebody have a question over here? Oh, Ed?
I had a question on the warrants. So we haven't gotten to that?
Yes.
Wait, yet? Two items that popped out at me as I was going through it.
So the way it works is that Rick has the box, the backup material.
Yeah.
So when you ask the question, he'll be able to pull it out.
Okay. First one is, it was an item called the SVSU assessment reimbursement. What is that?
Well, I don't think he needs to look that
It
up,
was
he
like
can just tell you.
1.7 million. So I figured you should know that one without looking it up.
It is, that's a partial payment of your annual assessments to operate the SU, of which 70% of that is sped services that are delivered in your buildings.
Okay.
So the way it works is that we, 3 times a year, is it 3 times? There's 3 assessments that go to the SU district to pay for the SU budget. They are not a taxing district, we're the taxing district.
Okay. Second question I have, I found an item on page 7 that said a Vulcan 3-foot USB cable for $90.60.
You have a check number? Or the vendor one,
I don't have that.
Page 7?
Yeah.
Page 7 on the warrants or the whole thing?
On the warrants.
What was the total amount?
It looked like it was for one 3-foot USB cable, extension cable, and it had a price of $90.60. And I questioned it just because of the price, because I know you can buy a quality cable for $10.
you know which warrant number?
Well, I'm on page 7, and I don't see anything for, there's Foley Distributing, that's on page 7, there's Franklin Company. All right, so I'm going to go to page 7 of the PDF, and not 7 of the...
Yes, I was looking at the PDF file.
Right. You feel a breeze coming through. That's what it is, it's not just me.
Do you find it, Donna?
Not yet.
Because the page 7s I'm finding don't line up. I mean, I don't see that on either page 7 in the actual number or the
Okay,
PDF number.
I haven't found up. I'll email you about it.
Email me and I'll get it back to everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Best thing if you give me a vendor or a check number.
Okay.
Is,
These warrants are hard to read in a PDF file.
they're all alphabetical by vendor within there, so if you write down the next time, if you just write down the vendor, we can look it up alphabetically, because that's how they're in the
Okay.
box, I think, as well. Did you have another question? No. No? Are there any other questions on the consent agenda? All in favor? It's unanimous. So I'm going to move on to the administrator's reports because Tim has not come back in.
Not a good sign.
So Sue or Tim, who would like to go first?
I'll go. Have Griffin passing out the copy of the Messenger. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it was in an insert in the Bennington Banner a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to just tell you a little bit about production we had. It was Les Miserables, and it was our chorus meeting with a chorus from New Jersey, a high school in New Jersey, and Lynn Sweet, who is the director of our chorus, has a best friend that is a teacher in New Jersey, and what they did was, and they did this last year also, they practiced for about a month ahead of time. They come together and they practice for one day and then put on, I don't know if anybody was there. David, you were there, right? It was just an incredible production after one day of practice. And it's become a tradition. This is the second year of it. And I think, and then our students went down to New Jersey to perform down at their high school. So that was a nice thing to see and a nice experience. And the only other thing that we're having on May 17th is each year we do something with our junior class around car safety. We try to do it right before the proms. And we have a thing called Arrive Alive coming. And it's actually, you have simulated cars that the kids get in, and then they see what it's like to text and drive and how they lose kind of perspective of what they're doing. And then we also have the police and the sheriff's department coming, and they're doing a thing on what it is to be intoxicated and driving. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing. We do it all day on the 17th in the courtyard. It's a little different every year, and that's what we're setting up for this year. Did you have anything?
Yes. One of the most exciting things that has become also a tradition at Mount Anthony since a couple of years ago, the student Isaac Lewis and Abby Thaberge started a March Madness food drive. So it used to be comprised of homerooms, but now that we have seminars and advisories, we use that space. But each seminar and advisory is allowed to fill out a March Madness bracket and hand it in with a 10-can buy-in, and all of the cans that we raise go to charity. And this year we had 35 seminars participate. It was a competition to see who would have the best bracket. And each week you can turn in more cans to buy and switch in new teams. So it was very well received. We had 35 seminars participate, and we raised, I won't say how much because we're having another competition to guess how much, but it was hundreds and hundreds of cans. So if you're in the high school, it's on display in the library. It's a ton of food. Actually, Bird of the librarian was very afraid that the table was going to collapse, so we had to rearrange it. So that was something very exciting.
It's not gambling, right?
No, not gambling. No, it's a pizza competition. We also have, we just finished vacation, obviously, and we have AP tests coming up. It's kind of a quiet time in the high school. Now into spring sports season, finishing up the year, but AP tests, kneecap testing, so it's kind of a testing season.
And do we have any statewide tests in the spring?
Yeah, science.
Yeah,
Science?
Coming up, that's what.
Yeah. And I think that will actually be after our next MAU meeting, but before our next meeting, we're going to have review sessions open to all 11th graders.
And when is graduation?
14th.
Of June?
Yes.
Great. Any questions of Griffin? So where's your successor?
He emailed me and said he couldn't make it tonight. But.
Griffin, we're counting on you to find somebody that'll be here each month.
You should have to ask David.
I heard a different story, actually, so I'm going to have to
Well, we'll take another one. You know, we'll do a tag team for two as you are on your way out. Because do you want to share with us where you might be going?
Oh, sure. It's not official. I've not put in the deposit yet. But last week during vacation, I
says one
many
here.
schools, and I think I'm going to be attending Rice University, which is in Houston, Texas, in the fall.
So were you there over vacation?
Yes, we flew down.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's a big city.
It is a very large city.
There's a lot of glass, a lot of big buildings. Well, congratulations, Griffin. Sue? Or Rick, do you want to say what that is?
Can we just close that loop?
Absolutely.
Save me an email tomorrow. It's actually a box of 20 for $90.60.
Does that make you feel better, Ed?
As opposed to one.
So that was on the CDW check. So, well, thank you, Rick. Thank you.
62,485 if anybody's interested, check number.
Sue?
What?
That was your...
It's been a long day. Going on just 14th hour. No, I'm all set.
The man in blue next to the woman in blue.
I love the matching set.
I got the
We
note.
called this morning.
Two things that I'd just like to make the board and the community aware of is the 8th grade student council is going to be hosting a talent show this Friday at 6 o'clock at the middle school. They're going to charge $2 for an adult, $1 for a student. And if you're under 6, you get in for free. I would really encourage folks to come out and see this. This is a completely student-driven project. I'm not aware of one happening recently at the middle school. I think it's a great idea. They originally had grand ideas of doing 2 projects before the end of the year, but I said let's focus on one. And my hope is that they make a little bit of money, but also showcase some of the acts. So far, they say they have over 20 acts scheduled. They have an MC. They're excited, and like I said, we'd love to see folks come out. It's Friday night, this Friday night at 6 o'clock. The other thing is spring is transition at the middle school, and so this Thursday, students who are currently 6th graders, soon to be 7th graders, and who will be joining us next fall, we host a open house at 6:30 here at the middle school for their families and for students to join us. We do a little presentation, we do a little walk around, and just invite all folks who are coming here next year in the 7th grade for the first time to come visit us. The following week, the following Thursday, which is May the 2nd, we will be hosting 6th graders, soon to be 6th graders, kids who are in the 5th grade right now, soon to be 6th grade. Similar format, some presentations, some introductions to staff, and welcoming them into the building. It's a good opportunity for families to take a look at the building and ask some questions and put some names to faces. So beyond that, the week of May the 6th through May the 9th, we will be hosting schools, classes of kids will be coming to visit us. Some folks may recognize them as formerly Buddy Days. We've renamed them, and we're going to be doing the format differently. The students will be coming from their schools with classmates that they know. They will be touring the building a little more in depth, but we're going to be hosting a kind of question-answer forum and not pairing them up with individual middle schoolers. We're looking to have a little more consistency, a little more of a high-quality experience at the middle school during those visit days. So it's not a whole-day experience. They're here for a couple of hours, but we are going to be welcoming different groups on different days through that week. So
And which week is that? The week
that
after
is
next?
May the 6th through the 9th. So it's, I believe they're coming Monday, Tuesday, we're taking Wednesday off, and then Thursday there will be a group here as well.
So that's great.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a lot of coordinating from somebody.
Yep. Guidance, my guidance crew and associate principals are working really hard, and I went through the Buddy Day experience last year as a first-time parent at the middle school, and so got some feedback from parents, and so we're tinkering with the process a little bit to see if it makes it a little better presentation this year. We're very excited.
And I think just since you're mentioning it, both for the public and the board, that new 7th graders to this building, the building is open at certain times over the summer. So that I just want people to realize it's not just this little.
That's a good point, and I should clarify, because folks who have done this before, last year I visited school before actually coming on board as principal. There were 3 separate meetings. So there was this meeting for parents to come in and tour the building in the April-May timeframe. There was a separate date in August, and then the traditional open house in September. And what we've done is we've eliminated the August date, and that is because feedback from parents who said, you know, we came in the spring, we kind of did the same presentation, we did the same kind of walkthrough, and so we're going to do this opportunity and then an open house.
Great. So you're not over-meeting them?
Yes. Parents, yeah, that was very clearly the feedback from the August one, is we've seen this before. So.
Dave, Ed.
Tim, do you reach out to the independent schools and invite 6th graders who might be ready to come to middle school?
Absolutely. I mean, I would make that plea over to the community this evening as well. If folks are, I mean, let me step back. Those formal invitations have gone to schools, to the elementary schools and BSD and the outlying towns. But absolutely, if you're in the community and you have a student who is at an independent school at this time and you're looking at homeschool and you're looking at something different, you're absolutely welcome to come in and visit us during these days, this Thursday or next Thursday. We don't take tickets from folks. We don't check your ID. You're absolutely welcome to come in and take a look. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Griffin? You tag teamed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're all set.
So, committee reports. Nathan, have you met?
There was a meeting on April 3rd, and various items were discussed. I didn't see the minutes get on the internet yet. I'm not sure why. They were written up. And we will have another meeting the first of next month, which will be May 1st.
It's May 1st?
Right.
And I'm sure the planning, is there more talk about the composting? The
Right,
removal
yes.
of the
Right.
the food waste?
Right, that's being worked on. They're getting that organized with the food service, and I guess they're interacting with TAM, who also is, creating a commercial composting operation eventually. So they're going to coordinate with them.
So this might be a time to ask you, Tim, is the summer programs that are going to be happening out here facilitated through the middle school? This is something probably new to you. The tutorial center uses the land, and then there's usually a middle school component that we do. So just to give you a heads up, in case you weren't aware.
Now, there's a couple of things going on. So classes, instructional teams right now are working with Helen and Allison in the building to establish their gardens. And then we'll have summer school, and the summer school has a connection not only for academics but also through the Mosaic program, and working with Helen Fields right now to coordinate a garden program available to kids for a variety of needs, actually. And there's been an email going around about a summer program specifically for the garden, but nothing definite at this point. We have, as far as staffing, as far as program, but we're definitely working on that now.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Nathan. So anyone who's interested on May 1st. Leon, there's no policies here. Was the policy committee meets next week?
On May 1st, I just wanted to make sure that the CDC attended the act. I don't know whether a representative was there.
No, they haven't showed up yet.
Because they're going straight ahead with trying to do all the things that we're talking about doing in the future for.
They did come to the Ed Committee, and I know that Ken and Griffin are going to schedule one soon, right, to follow up on that? The ag? No, ag will follow up on the ag from CDC for what might happen here. That the conversation did start.
Right. That's what I wanted to make sure that Nathan know that their conversation, and try to keep somebody informed in that area because of what's going on.
Okay.
And then we had no finance meeting. We are going to have a brief executive session afterwards that we'll have a few updates on. SVSU, Fran, we meet next Wednesday. Is there anything from, I think the meetings are off schedule because of vacation.
Right.
This Wednesday.
We meet this Wednesday, but we...
Right, 24th.
So I think that's it. Donna, we're going to move to the superintendent's report.
Well, you said something about policy and you went right over it. We have a meeting this Wednesday at 4:30, and at the top of that list is grade advancement for the middle school and the high school. And so I'm hoping that at least Dave or somebody from the high school will be there and be able to answer some of the questions. I know it's going to have to come back to the education committee. Some of the comments Tim sent will probably have to be addressed in the education committee in terms of how we're going to run things in terms of the middle school and the high school and play out. So we can look at them, but we can't make those decisions at the policy committee unless without the education committee coming back here and saying this is how we're going to run things or do things in the middle school and write it that way.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the first thing on Wednesday.
Well, does that need to be in anybody's handbook? It doesn't, right? It's not applicable to a handbook.
I mean, it's different at the high school. It's the credits, so.
It's both inside of the policy piece, but we still got to get it out and get it to be permanent, because we have the old stuff out, and we have to get it to reflect what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to just have to line it up at some point. I don't think it impacts the handbook at the high school, which is already going to print or soon.
Well, no, the handbook doesn't go to, you're talking about the handbook or the program of studies?
Program
Handbook
of
doesn't
studies.
go into the.
Program of
Program of
studies.
studies been out for months.
Right, so it'll be the next one.
But it's listed in the program of studies, like what credits you need, it's all in there.
Right, I think it's the middle school that we need to make sure is clear.
Well, they both need to be clear. I just want to make sure that the policy has to drive the other things. They don't drive the policy. So, you know, even though they're in the handbook or they out there somewhere, we don't have anything to stand on if they don't match up to something that the board has approved and have in place. So what we have is some procedures out there that we have that is fine, it's supposed to match up to the policy.
Are you ready for this? Okay, so that's, Dave Barrio will be there, I'm sure, and maybe even,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're going to move on to the superintendent's report, and Donna's going to explain to us what this is under the superintendent's report.
Well, I asked the superintendent about it again today, and I think you don't need to take a motion, but what I wanted to say was just give you an update that the SVSU may need to give out RIF notices, reduction in force, because of some changes that might occur in the budget. And if they do, the superintendent will have to follow through on the contract dates that are given in terms of notification of any staff members that might be on a list, and that would be according to seniority levels, but would have to go slightly beyond that. And it would be because of the BST budget is not quite settled yet, and so in terms of our SVSU budget, if there would be any changes, it would have to, the teachers, any staff members, paras or teachers, would have to be notified before their contract dates. So it's just to give you notification that might need to happen before the contract dates of notification.
So the RIF notification is by May 1st, for those that are unaware of it, for the following school year for certified teachers. And I think there's a couple other things at play too. North Bennington's staff
right.
may play into the SU in terms of certified staff within the SU. And then I'm assuming that you're saying that Catherine is saying this because if an SVSU or a title teacher is RIF'd, it may be that the least senior person is in one of the Mount Anthony buildings.
Yes.
Okay. So we don't have to take any kind of motion, it's more of a, so did you have anything else you wanted to report on?
I would just say that our school improvement coach, Maura Hart, is coming again Friday, and she's going to work with Tim and Sue and myself, some of the district directors, on coming up with our goals and objectives for improvement. And I want to thank Tim and Sue. They've been faithful at coming and participating in that group, and I think that we're doing some good work to really, it's a district improvement team. So it's looking at the support mechanisms that we use in terms of helping all the schools in their improvement. So it is a sort of a way to document and expand the way we work together with schools so that we're all trying to reach improvement levels in similar ways, and how to present those issues to the boards, and how to let you know what kinds of resources and support we need. There's been quite a bit of talk about professional development, and I think one of the issues that keeps coming up is how we can embed professional development more into the regular school year and the teachers' working schedules, so that it may affect the calendar at some date. It would not be the upcoming calendar because that's been approved, but we are looking forward to ways that possibly we could modify the calendar so that teachers had more ongoing professional development throughout the year instead of just at the beginning of the year and 2 days during the year.
Speaking of calendar, the 13-14 calendar is on the front page of the website for next year. Leon?
Oh, I was gonna wonder whether board training, who's gonna cover that? Under yours or the superintendent's report? That took place.
Yep,
that took place.
You want to report, were you there?
Well, we all were there. I just wanted to know whose report it was gonna be on. That's all. Everybody wasn't there, but we had board training that was offered, and it was at the Career Development Center conducted by the Department of Education. And,
What was the VSB?
The VSBA.
It was, so I'm not sure, I don't remember who wasn't there, but they passed out the books and went through the various things that we needed to understand as a group of people and a group of board members in terms of how we function. And one of the things that I really wanted to make, we talked a lot of, I mean, at the end about executive session in terms of what takes place in executive session, and it should stay there and so forth along that particular line. But the board training, the books by the VSBA was just great.
I have an extra if anybody wants to look at it.
And the SU is going to do a local for new board members on terms of our own finance department, curriculum department, and those kind of things, although the date has not been set yet. But if you'd like an updated book, we can certainly get you one. Thank you for reminding us of that, Leon. So under Chair's report, the Code of Ethics that I switched out the last time, went to SU, and then there's a number of different boards and people editing even that one. So I want to wait till we have kind of a final version. I think all the board members really understand what's in there. Some like the longer version, some like the shorter version, but we need it to be succinct. And again, nothing is actually by law, it's more your own code of ethics that's in there. Now, we're going to move on to the BSD letter, which was, I believe we handed out at the last meeting. And Ken, I'd like you to just be pretty clear. I mean, I have it up here. The two things are either you'd like to know if this board is serious about 5th grade coming here in FY15, and if not, then will we lease space to Bennington? I do know that the one thing we had looked at prior to Tim's arrival, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, was leasing the space, and I believe the board at that time felt that that really was not the way to go. But we can look at the pros and cons of that again. It seems like it's if we're not interested in incorporating the 5th grade. Is that's right? It's one or it's integrate 5th grade or lease space?
Right, it's, you know, we're shopping around looking at different options, but this is one of them, and we just want to know if you'd be able to handle the 5th grade if they sent them up here as a package, or, you know, lease space to us to have a place to educate our own 5th graders, because it's a bubble, and it looks like probably 15, 16, 17 or so will need those rooms, and after that, you know, we may not need the rooms anymore. The population will be down, so, you know, we just want to see what's out there.
So I can appreciate that, but I mean, are you saying that you would just be looking to integrate them for 3 years? For those bubble years?
No, I think the decision was to send them up here as 5th graders. It would be for
so,
like the 6th grade.
So I guess I personally would like to know where we fall in the weight of it, if there's other options that seem more, like I know you're looking at another space to possibly rent.
That's about it.
To what?
I think that's about the 2 options.
Oh, those are the 2 options?
I think so. I don't think there's any other options.
So is the board still, we voted after Griffin had that ed meeting, and that the board at the time, a couple months ago, was open to looking at 5th grade coming up here. So what kind of, Tim, what kind of details would we need to have Tim look at it? I mean, I don't want to do work that doesn't need to be done, and I want to also make sure we have the right information that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Tim?
Yeah, I just think it's important for, you know, whoever from BSD to talk to Tim Payne, in that, I mean, I'm sure that he has some ideas. This isn't a new idea that's just been brought up to him recently. But as to the configuration that he thinks would make sense for this particular building and the other kids in the building, And I think it's important for the BSD board to realize that, maybe I don't want to be speaking for you, Tim, but his conception, or mental conception, whatever, as to how he would integrate that particular group into this system and see if that would go along with it. What I wouldn't like to see is a situation where you guys made the decision to have them come up here, but the situation that they would be coming into is one that you would be uncomfortable with. I think it's better for you to know the type of thinking that Tim has done before you take that next step. I don't want to speak for you, Tim. Would that make sense?
Yeah, I think I can offer this. Maybe it would be helpful for this board to be given a map, a building map, to say this is, here's a configuration that would support 5th graders, and here is a student schedule, what we might be able to support. It'd be an interesting exercise. I don't think the core instruction of math, science, English, and social studies and language arts would be impacted. The interesting exercise would be unifieds, bringing an extra 125 kiddos through the gym, let's say, a day, to see what that would look like. Beyond just increased number of staff, but just space. That might be an interesting exercise. I say that on the first day back from vacation. I'm well rested, so.
Well, the other thing to consider is that the Mount Anthony citizens, the 5 towns, would actually have to vote to amend our charter to educate 5 through 12. And I'm not sure what kind of a sell that would be without dollars and cents. I mean, it may immediately translate to somebody that it may be more money, whether it may or may not be. But it is a piece of that puzzle that would have to go before the voters. Leon?
I thought at the education committee that I attended that we said that we wanted this middle school to concentrate on the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade integration and not worry about the 5th grade, and making sure and thought that Tim had some plans to start rolling out some things so that in September we'll be moving along those particular lines.
Yes, that is the way the last education meeting.
That's exactly right.
Evaluate it next year.
So, and I wouldn't want to muddy the waters. I think that's still what we need to be doing, because that's what we said we need to take place, that needs to take place up in here is 6th, 7th, and 8th as an integration. And if you did anything else, it wouldn't be to talk about integrate 5th graders into a 5, 6, and 7, because we didn't speak to do that at all. And so that needs to go somewhere else to be discussed, because we didn't discuss it that way to do that. If you did it, I know you asked 2 questions. One is to say, do we have space to lease? That's separate than having to bring them in and go 5, 6, and 7. I think we need to stay with the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
I wish there was a way that we had the minutes set up as just minutes and not that you had to go through every...
Well, it would be nice. We were talking about that before you came in. It would be nice if we would have it in chronological order as well. Not like 12, 11, 10, 13. I mean, it's just there's no rhyme or reason to the way you look.
This whole website needs an overlook, a do-over. But and again, the minutes will reflect it. I do know we had that conversation, but I also believe that we were open to if BSD asked. Dave, do you remember differently?
I remember what Leon said, and I remember what you're saying, that we didn't want to shut the door.
Right.
I personally didn't want to shut the door, so I do
think
remember
it was both.
it being that way. Yeah, Matt Chummery.
Go ahead.
The other thing I remember about that conversation was we imagined difficulties dealing with the Bennington School District having to lay off staff and then rehiring them at MAU, since they were going to be technically employees now of the district. So the leasing option seemed like sort of a nice way around that particular difficulty. They would still be employed by BSD, we would lease space here, and
That leads to a whole different set of
I'm
complications.
sure it does, yeah. But I also wonder whether it gets around the point you just raised about the citizens of all the towns needing to approve a change in the charter. If it were a lease arrangement, we wouldn't need to do that.
Right.
I'm just thinking aloud.
And I remember reading the article about that the following day, and Mr. Payne did mention that the fifth graders are kind of young and they're not, they're kind of young to come up here. And he also mentioned that, he didn't feel that maybe there's enough staff for music, art, phys ed to add another 125. As you said, there may have to be more hires to cover those kids.
Well,
You wouldn't want to reduce
right, that
what
would
you
be
get.
the whole.
And space as well, like you
Right.
mentioned, gymnasium, huh? You can only have so many sections, so many times in 1 week. You wouldn't want to cut back on your 6th, 7th, 8th graders for that. So I think there's a lot of complications, but as Leon did mention, I think the first goal was to try and assimilate the 6th into the 7th, 8th graders first, come up with a plan like that.
Go ahead, Tim.
I think the 6 being integrated more, we're already working on that. As simple as, I wouldn't say simple, as straightforward as scheduling, attempting to put the 6th grade on the same kind of daily schedule so that you can have access to the various unified programs and things like that in a more consistent manner. And I think that's going to be helpful for a variety of reasons. So I think that work will already go through. The consideration of bringing 5th graders, I completely agree that there's probably a whole lot of discussions that have to happen before that goes forward. But I think to inform this board as far as some things to consider about bringing them in, whether you lease or you actually make them part of the MAU, might help just answer the questions when it comes to money and things like that. Hiring staff, I think, regardless if you lease or whether they become part of the MAU, that's a question it's going to happen anyways, because you'll just have more students in the building. But a function of how the building would then offer those programs to kids, that might be helpful to it too. So I guess my thing is the 6th grade work is going ahead. As we discussed in the educational committee, we talked about simple or straightforward things like schedule and giving kids more access to what is offered in the building, and I think we're moving in the right direction. A lot of very good conversations with 6th grade instructional teams already, making preparations for next year. And then just giving some scenarios for the boards to consider as far as what the building would layout look like and how it might impact being able to offer kids programs purely from a physical space might be helpful for folks. And it may be very attractive compared to what the other options that the BSD board is looking at as far as what do you do with this increase in kids coming through the elementary schools.
So I think I'm looking over some of the minutes. I think there's been a few overlapping conversations. One was what Tim just mentioned. The other was around whether we kept the goal of bringing 6th grade up, which led to the enhanced, not enhanced, but to integrate 6th grade more. And then the straightforward question when we did the tour was, would MAU be interested in considering having 5th grade? So I think there's sort of yes to all of those, but they might contradict each other. So I think maybe just, when are you expecting an answer by?
Well, this one, I guess we're gonna be all set in September, so, we'll probably be halfway through the following year, so a year from now, or.
Right, but so you want to take a look at this by the fall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I think important, I think Mr. Payne had mentioned too, that if you did accept the 5th graders of either way, that would automatically lock out the 6th graders from any outlining district, because that would fill up just about all the room in the building.
So we're clearly going to have more discussion on this. Does anybody have any other thoughts that haven't been shared about, that would prefer not to do it, or should we just keep on going? Peter?
keep on going.
Okay,
Check it
so
out, see what comes of it.
the other, for those who might be interested, there's a 20-minute presentation at 20 to 30 on the Common Core and how it's being implemented at the SU on Wednesday night. The board meeting for the SVSU, which was going to be abbreviated, now does not necessarily need to be abbreviated. There will be a shorter executive session. But if you're interested in where we're at with the Common Core, you can come. You can watch it on CAT TV later. But I thought I would share that. The meeting starts at 6:30 here. And the ESP negotiations are continuing. And if you'd like an update, we can do that in executive session. We're kind of at the table now, and we can, I can bring you, Donna or I can bring you up to speed if you'd like to know where we're at with that, or we can put it off till the next meeting. Would anybody like to hear where we're, no? No. Next meeting.
I think the next
Okay.
meeting might be more informative.
Next meeting will be more informative. So we do not need an executive session for personnel or contractual matters. And there is other, if somebody has other on here, we meet on May 22nd. No, May 6th. Who has a calendar in front of them?
1/8/15/22.
No, there's no meeting on the 22nd. There's no meeting at all on the 22nd of May.
The first four
Mike?
Wednesdays of the month were the meeting days.
Right, so it's the 15th.
15th?
15th is MAU.
And 22 is SVSU.
No, SVSU is being put off
29th.
to the 29th because of your VSBA meeting on the 22nd.
No, that's superintendents.
It's
They're
board
inviting-
chairs, no.
They're inviting board chairs, the superintendent's meeting.
I don't know, when is the next one?
Our next meeting for MAU, unless there's an ed or a finance committee warned, will be May 15th, here.
Perfect.
So a motion to adjourn,
So moved. Second.
all in favor? Tim, do you have a date?